Yeah, you there? Yeah, yes, you are there. Hey, how you doing today? It's Tuesday. It's wrestling day. Nice. You ready for a great class? It's going to be an awesome class. But listen, it's probably going to be our last class that we do. Google, as far as the Google Mac connection goes, we'll be back at the academy next week. All right. Doesn't mean we're going to be hands-on with each other, unless you're a family member or something like that. But it does mean that we're going to be doing our drills, working with each other, and as that goes, the coaches are going to be on site, seeing what you're doing, making modifications, helping you along the way. So it's an awesome opportunity to get back on the mats and do so in a good manner that's going to be acceptable for everybody and allow us to start moving forward in preparation for the upcoming school season and any of the Texas USA wrestling season that's left. So anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Also, for all of our guys that have been joining us from our regular class, that are not in the wrestling program per se, that have been doing grappling and so on and so forth, don't forget that Gloria Dale, of course, is our local homeschool co-op, is working on starting a wrestling program for all the homeschoolers out here, and that is going to allow them to have a wrestling season in school as well. All right, and so we're looking forward to having you guys join us in class live. I know you've been taking advantage of these classes online. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the mat with us as well, okay? So it's going to be an exciting thing coming up. So let's go and get started. We're going to be going over it's not going to be a super long class. We're going to be very focused in and honing in on a certain detail, working in with the shot and how we can do it. We did a lot of those drills the last 2 weeks as far as footwork drills, stance drills, dropping, drop step, split step, down blocks, that kind of stuff, back steps, and then the circle drills that we did and things of that nature. All right. But we're going to focus on one aspect of that today and really kind of refine that hopefully it'll help you guys be able to get back on the when we get back on the mats next week, so you can see how we can apply these things and help you become a better wrestler. Right? So let's go ahead and just start out just warming up. So jumping jacks ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Good high knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Heels up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Good. All right, isolation. So we're going to come up. Remember, we're really working on stretching the hamstring. Also working on warming up the lower extremities as far as the ankle and knees, and getting some really good core isolation control. So we come up here. Did I say stretching the hamstring? I meant hip flexor. Sorry. And quads. Ready? One more time. Back. Good, all right. Now isolation down, no touching. So So remember, now we're stretching the hamstrings. I'm gonna kick the other foot up and come down. Try not to put your hand on your leg like I just did. The other side. One more time. Back. Nice. All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to go on the ground and work bridges. Now listen, there's two ways that you can do this. Of course, you can work a bridge. There's the neck bridge, back arch type bridge, and then there's one where we're working on the shoulder, all right? The bridge we're going to do today is not the back arch. I don't want you doing this on your own at home without some supervision, because it's the head, neck, and things of that nature, so we want to make sure you're doing that right. The bridge we're going to do today is on the shoulder, and then we use that, of course, to escape. Now, of course, we don't want to be caught on our shoulders. Of course, we don't want our shoulders to be controlled on the ground, getting near fall points, things of that nature, pins. So when we do this type of a bridge, it is like a moving bridge. I mean, you are hustling, right? You got to move yourself out, and it's used for an escape or reversal. If you guys are working to try to reverse somebody yourself, you get head-arm control, and you're going to spin out like an Olympic spin or something like that, then you know, we want to be able to roll up on the shoulder as well, right? So, but we're not staying there, okay? But we're working the bridge right now to help us to work that. So we are staying there for right now, just in the warm-up portion. Though on this type of a bridge, I want my head up and out of the way. I want to touch my ear to the other shoulder. So that way I'm able to open, and it's going to be a really quick over the shoulder, and I reach, and I Superman to the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the hips up. 5, 6, 7. Really drive those hips up. 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 30. All right, nice. Cool, all right. Now, since we're already down here, we're gonna stay down for a little bit. We're gonna work on warming the hips up, all right? And again, the bridge helps us with that. Just real quick warm-ups today. Not a lot of like strength and conditioning type stuff, just trying to get warmed up. What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna stay again on my back, and I'm gonna work to move my hips over, all right? So when I move my hips over on this, I'm not rolling though. I'm not coming up here and rolling like this, or rolling like this. What I am doing is picking my hips up and rotating, all right, while I keep my shoulders down, and then rotate. So my hips actually come up off of the ground and off of the ground and move, all right? So we're just gonna do 30 of those, ready? Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 30. All right, cool. All right, next what we're gonna do, a little thing called a scorpion. And so on this, we're basically doing the same thing, all right, except for we're belly down and not so much of throwing the hips up in the air on this one. We're actually rolling the hips. So what we want to do is try to keep our chest flat down onto the mat. So we're here and down like this here, arms out. And I'm just gonna simply try to take my leg and roll and touch. And then here, and then roll and touch while I keep my shoulders down. Really important. Pick up the leg, so it looks like this from the side. What's up, dog? We come here, over to the side, and we come back and over to the side, keeping the shoulder down, all right? All right, so it's a really good exercise working the hip rotation and opening your hips up, right? Making your hips allow those explosive motions to happen. You're not locking yourself down, all right? Gypsy, you need to go. Come here. Everybody say hi to Gypsy. Hi. Gypsy's our little Maltese, little 5-pound girl. Her name's Gypsy because she had to try to find a home when she was younger. We ended up adopting her. All right, so she's been a great dog. She's 12 years old. Little feisty girl. Go, see you, bye. Go see Josiah. Go. Smart as a whip. She already knows Josiah's name. All that stuff. All right. We just lost our Cane Corso. He was rude. He was 10 years old, big old 110-pound guy. And so Gypsy and him were the epitome of diversity and integration. Big dog, small dog, black dog, white dog, girl dog, boy dog. Man, they got along really well. And if they can do it, we can all do it. Anyway, a little sidetrack there. So let's go back to our scorpions, and we're going to be going back and forth. We're not going to do a bunch of these, just doing 10, all right? So 5 each side, and slow movement, all right? Really important that we have slow movement, all right? I want you to make sure your hips are taken care of. Don't hurt your lower back on this, okay? So we're just down, trying to keep ourselves flat. And 1, and back. The other side, 2, 3, 4, 5, really controlled motion, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very nice. Look, what's important about those exercises that you do when they're done like that, you got to remember how the lower spine, lower portion of the spine is made, right? The upper portion of the spine moves like this here. The lower portion moves kind of like this, but it's designed to do this more than anything else, all right? And it moves like this, but when you twist, and it's a kind of an unnatural thing, those ligaments that hold it together can pop that thing out like this here. When it pops out like this, that's where your lower back spazzes out and locks up, all right? So if you do a lot of twisting and bending motion, this is what you're doing to that, right? So you gotta be careful with it. You gotta warm it up really well. You gotta get that, you gotta get the flexibility inside there. You gotta get the supporting muscles around it to be able to be built up. And so it's really important that we condition the lower back to be able to help us to have those hip rotations, to be able to help us have the strength and the stability to be able to explode and move and stuff like that. So if you just jerk your hips around without building all that stuff up, you can really hurt yourself really bad, right? So we do want to condition that and build that area right up here. All right, that's why a lot of people have a lot of low back problems here, okay? So we're going to come down one last thing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick one knee up, all right? The other knee's down. So I'm just coming here like this here, sort of like sitting like this here. I want to take this leg, just like we're doing when we're walking down that isolation butt kicker, where we come up and we're going to grab the toes. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to thrust my hip forward and try to bring my heel to my butt. Hold that. Go switch to the other side. And try to bring your hip, the foot that you're pulling, that hip, try to bring it all the way and touch whatever you're holding onto, whether it's a wall or whether it's a couch where I'm at. So let's go one more time, the other side. So here, remember grab the toes, pull up and try to bring this hip all the way forward. Switch to the other side. This is one of my favorite stretches right here. I'm on my own. Because man, this is a good one. It's like what you used to do, I guess when, well maybe you didn't do it because you're much younger than I am, but when I was younger we used to do one where we stuck our leg out front and then we pulled this other leg behind us like this and we laid back and it really stretched here. But they found out really quick that it's really bad on the knees. And so that's why we've abandoned that stretch. But this is a good replacement for that right there, okay? All right, very nice. So we got the hips working. And so now what we're gonna do is work on our hand speed drills. Remember, hand speed drills, we do these hand speed drills, and Zarek actually kind of reminded me of them and pulled them out of the clear blue. I guess he found them through a friend of mine. And but we used to do them a long time ago, all the time. MMA is mainly used for striking, but they're also really good for just getting the fast twitch muscles to be able to respond and get a lot of control, a lot of speed and recovery, all right? It's really important that when my hands are up here, we talk about it all the time. If I jab and strike, I want to bring them back. If I go to grab, I want to bring them back. Recovery is super, super important. We don't want to leave our arms extended out. We keep our elbows in. Open our elbows means that our body's open. Even in striking, we don't strike like this. Judo, we don't go in like this unless I have control, and then I open to be able to throw. That's when I open things up, right? When I'm actually working the technique. But in the interim, everything else in between is tight, inside, right? When we shoot, elbows in. When we go inside, elbows in, all right? I'm really working to try to protect this inner portion and keep everything tight inside here, all right? So I want to recover all the time. So what we're going to do is keep our hands here. You can move around if you want. You don't have to move around, all right? Just working the hand speed. We've worked these before, and we're just going straight up and down, just like this. But you want to go as fast as you can. Or I got a pretty bad elbow injury. I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow, but so I'm not going to go super fast. But we're going to go up and down, and 10 seconds. Ready and go. Good, all right, good. And now we're going to go opposite up and down. Ready and go. All right, good. Now we're going to go here. We're going to go side to side, just like this here. Ready and go. This is the one that hurts. Hurts his shoulder and hurts his elbow. Good. And now the great thing about that is that, of course, I'm really working to stabilize the joint too in this. And even though it hurts, it's actually good for me to do this as long as I don't overextend and just relax and like whip them out, right? Because I'm really working the muscle, keeping everything tight, right? Now we're going to switch back and forth. The key is about trying to be accurate here. Good, all right? So you heard my hand hit. That's not accurate, right? So we want to try to be accurate in everything we do in it, all right? So now we're going to take the hands here. We're going to take one here. This hand goes here. This hand goes up on top, just like this. So we're doing this and this, all right? And go. Good, now we switch. You'll notice this is my left hand. I don't work my left hand as much as my right. So guess what? It's slower. And I don't mind it being slower because I want it to be accurate, all right? Building that accuracy. Good, all right? So rotate those arms. So that's a good little drill. You can do that. We just did it for 10 seconds. The longer you do it, the better it is, all right? Wrist, neck. Nice, good, all right? Good. So now, from here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to shadow wrestling. All the things that we've done before, we're combining them now, right? So like last week, we did a lot of the drop step, down block, split step. We did a lot of the side shuffle, side steps, back step motions, level changes. Think about what Coach Darrell talks about all the time, your entries and how your entries go and what you're working with when you're trying to do your catch and snatch as far as like your wrist control, elbow control inside, 2-on-1s, arm drags, single collar tie, underhooks, overhooks, those types of things, the control positions that you're looking for. And then of course, the technique that goes along with it, right? So we want to try to think about and emulate what technique we want, right? Shadow wrestling, God gave us an imagination to create images in our mind, really important. All right, those images, we create the pictures, and it helps us to be able to shoot for things, set goals in our life, things of that nature, right? And so, it's like I was talking about yesterday in class, you have to understand that, things like the paperclip, they ain't been around forever, right? Somebody looked and said, hey, this would actually work well if I did this. And they use their imagination to be able to create an image, to be able to create a product. And that's what happens, right? Imagination lends to creativity, innovation, invention, that kind of stuff, all right? And it also drives home and it brings things home to us as far as things that we're trying to accomplish, right? So mental imaging is a huge part of your game, all right? So that's really important. So when we do shadow wrestling, it's the same situation. That's why shadow wrestling is so important. It's not all about the speed. As a matter of fact, today, let's do this. Let's kind of go at a slower pace, all right? Not try to go super fast. Let's try to make everything super smooth, all right? And make it super accurate. And that's what the other thing about shadow wrestling does too. You can change the objectives in what you're trying to do. You can try to go for speed. You can try to go for a single technique inside of that. You could try to go for just accuracy. You can try to go for connectivity and chain wrestling. A lot of different goals with shadow wrestling that are able to be accomplished, right? But you have to go into it with a purpose. You just don't want to move around and kind of just, flail yourself around, okay? So, remember all that stuff. Remember about your stances. We talked about square stance. Square stance is a great defensive stance, about how we line up. Elbows in, holding that great, keeping that in tight. Right, hands up, palms facing each other. I want to make sure I have a straight line from here all the way through into the balls of my feet. I want to make sure my back's rounded a little bit and really low to be able to work inside. Stagger stance helps us to be able to attack. You're not going to be able to shoot from a square stance. You're going to have to go in stagger stance. Those are your attacks, things of that nature, okay? Same situation though, we're here, right? When I go in reach, usually I'm going to reach, I can head check, hand check with my front hand, but again, I want it back unless I'm trying to bait the person in to take a shot on the front leg, because again, if I know that they're shooting, I'm able to respond, right? Be able to, I'm ahead of the game, right? Because I'm inviting them. But most of the time when I go in, I come in and try to grab them, or reach in off my backhand, or I might reach in off the backhand and then switch, then it becomes my front lead hand, all right? So, just trying to put all that stuff together. Ready? We're gonna go for just 30 seconds shadow wrestling, all right? Just to finish and wrap up the warm up, and then we're gonna focus on our one technique, all right? So here we go, ready? And shake hands, pop, and let's go. Remember, working on the accuracy. All right, nice, good. Just having fun with that, just warming up. Again, letting the mind start to work and move in there, okay? All right, so we worked a drill last week about the split step, okay? That split step, of course, comes in as an attack. It can also be like a drop step with a down block, as a defensive motion. By shooting in, we're able to down block. And of course, talked about the rotation after the down block to be able to spin to the back, stuff like that, all right? So we're gonna go inside here and just work that drill just for a second, all right? Remember, we're here and we're just working, hopping here, okay? When I hop, what happened was that we're here and I come back, all right? And I'm just moving back, all right? So back, like a down drop, where I come back, almost like a down block, all right? So we're coming inside, and back. The other side, down, back. Let's go forward, down, and back. sideways, circle, circle, good, here, all right? So you remember that, right? Okay? So now, when we're working that, we also did a portion of the drill where we did the down block, the down block with the split step here. It comes back here, and then when I do this here, I'm going to shoot off the front leg. But when I do this down block where my hand drops, like a drop step, I come back here, drop step, and then step and level change, okay? So we're going to try that. Ready? The other side. That penetration step. Ready? Good. Okay. Then we did the drop step, coming back, the penetration step, level change, and then we went forward with the shot. Okay. So here and hop it. Ready? Back, forward, and in. All right. Ready? Back, step, level change, and in. Okay. Let's try that again. Good. The other side. Cool. All right. So now, all we're going to do is we're going to take that and combine those motions. All right. Keep hearing me kind of mix these terms up, all right, because it actually turns into what's called a split step, okay? The drop step is I'm here, right? We're in a square stance, and I'm just coming back. The down block is I'm coming in, forward to the back. The split step is taking the drop step, penetration step into the shot, and we're making it all one motion, all right? So we're actually doing a split step. When I do my split step, the split step can be done in a variety of ways. Okay, I can come from a square stance into a split step. I can come from a stagger stance and just be on my heel and split step onto the ball of the foot. I can come from a stagger stance and I can actually go split step side. So I go here and that cuts me to the side, all right? There's a lot of different things that we can do with that split step. So what we're gonna do is kind of a little drill. It's gonna combine those motions right there, okay? So we're gonna be in here, inside a square stance, and we're gonna do our split step. Notice when I do my split step, I have a good shoulder width, shoulder and a half, all right? On the balls of my feet, my heels are touching, my hips are tight, all right? Knees tight, hands inside. All right, when I do my split step, watch what happens to my feet here. All right, notice how all of a sudden my feet now are in line with my hips. I've narrowed my width, all right? I'm not wide like this here, right? What I want is I want to make sure that when I do my split step here this way, I'm here, right? Two things are happening. When I bring this leg back, it is my driving leg, all right? And I'm loading it up. When I mean by loading it up, that's my power leg, all right? I don't want it bent too much. I don't want it too straight. And I definitely don't want my knee on the floor, all right, on the mat. So I'm loading it up here. And now from here, this is giving me the power to drive forward, all right? You talk about a typical shot, all right? Talk about the level change, you know, real standard, basic, fundamental shot, all right? Our level change, our penetration step, now we've loaded up, and then we go all the way inside, still drive onto the leg here, and then we bring this leg, power through, and then up here. Nothing wrong with that. We're getting the basics and the fundamentals. So we're actually taking like a shortcut into the penetration step and loading the power leg up, all right? So we're doing that off the split step, okay? So when I do drive like that, I want to make sure that my power leg, when I load it up, that it is in line with my hip and in line with my shoulder. So when I drive, it's going to push me in the direction that I need to go, and it's getting my whole body to go forward, all right? If I'm off to the side here and I try to drive forward, then I don't have as much power. Try that, feel that, all right? Put your foot behind you on an angle. Now try to drive, just lift this foot up and try to drive yourself forward. It feels weird, all right? It's actually wanting to push you that way, all right? Because it's lined up with the hip. Nothing wrong with going that way if you want to go that way, but we're wanting to go this way here for this actual move. So when I do my split step from here, I want to load up the power. Notice now that it's in line with my hip. The ball of the foot, just like in our base, is lined up hip and shoulder right here, right? So now I'm on the ball of this foot here, and I've got my level change, right? One thing that we want to do off the split step as well, that we'll add a little bit later, jumping ahead of myself, is we're going to do something, pay attention to what I talked about there. Jumping ahead of myself, right? So we're here, and we're going to split step, all right, from our square stance, there, and back. Good. Now we're going to go into our stagger stance, all right? And we're going to split step, same situation. It's just lowering our base, level change, loading the power leg up, and the penetration step all in one motion. So on our stagger stance here, and it just lines everything up a little bit more. Good. All right, so let's try that again. Square stance here, and split step. Good. Now we're going to go inside, and we're going to be on our stagger stance and split step. Good. Very nice, right? Now we're going to take it, we're going to be on the heel of my lead leg, and when I do my split step here, I'm just kind of rock back onto my heel here, and then I'm going to go back here, and when I go on my heel, I'm going to switch and go onto the ball of the foot. So it's like a step, and I lean, you know, I'm coming forward, and I'm just here like this, and I come up. Or I might even lift the whole foot up, right? But when I do, it's just change it onto the ball of the foot, right? So let's try the first one. Square stance and split step. Good. Now, stagger stance and split step. That foot should have gone forward, right? That one back. Ready? Now we're here, stagger stance, onto the heel a little bit because I'm coming, I'm like leaning back, reaching in. When I reach in, inside here, now I'm going to level change, go onto the ball of the foot. All right? Now we're going to use this side step. So under my stagger stance, when I come up on my split step this time, I'm definitely not focused on penetration this way. I'm focused on creating an angle, all right, on this side. You can penetrate if you need to, but our main intention is to move this way without losing our base. So we're here and split step. Okay, so 4. Ready? So we're here, square stance, and split step. Good. Stagger stance, split step. Good. And now rocking back and just changing. Split step. Good. Now stagger stance and side step. Good. All right. Now switch sides. Ready? And split step. Good. Now another stagger stance and split step. Good. Now here, rocking onto the heel and split step. Good. Now side step and split step. Good. Okay. Cool. All right. Mat is moving. All right, back to the other side here. And split step. Good. Stagger stance and split step. Good. And rocking back, split step. Good. Side step and split step. Good. Switch now. Square stance and split step. Good. Stagger stance and split step. Remember, line those hips up. Ready? And rocking back and split step. Good. Level change. Now side step and split step. Good. Okay. One more time. You want to go sideways, kind of see, but stay with me. So we're in our square stance. Ready? And split step. Good. Now we're going to be stagger stance, heel to toe, split step. Actually, no, I'm sorry, just whole split step. Ready? Split step. Good. Now heel to toe and split step. Good. And side step. Split step. Good. Now square stance and the other side, split step. Good. Now stagger stance, split step. Good. Now we're going to go heel toe and split step. Now side step, split step. Good. Okay? Good. Now, what we're going to do is going to do a little thing when we do that split step. Important that we bring the knee to chest, all right? So when I do my split step, I want to really focus on trying to do like a high knee, all right? So when I'm inside here, whatever my lead leg is going to be, all right, when I do my split step off here, I want to be here and I want to try to bring this knee up. See, now all of a sudden, my level changes even more dynamic, okay? Not so much trying to like, you know, make it like, hey, I'm going to leave it here, right? When I bring that knee up, I bring it up to land on the ball of the foot, still keeping the principles in place. Loading up the power leg, really changing my level and getting that big penetration step. So we're inside here and split step. See, all of a sudden, I'm like really driving, pushing, right? Off of this front leg here, okay? And really loading up, okay? So now, what I want you to do is we're gonna do that with every single one of those things that we just did before, okay? So we're working off a square stance, split step, knee to chest, all right? Loading up the power leg properly, getting everything in line with the hips, getting onto the ball of the foot, getting your posture up. Really important that my posture's up, all right? And then we're going to do it with the regular split step from the stagger stance, then heel to toe, split step off the stagger stance, and then we're going to work on the side step, all right? So we're here, yeah, split step, good. Now we're going to go stagger stance and split step, drive that knee up, good. Now stagger stance, heel toe. Still, when I go heel toe, I'm thinking about bringing that knee up, okay? Good. Now, side step. Good. Now to the other side. Ready? Split step. Good. Stagger stance. Split step. Really bring the knee to chest. Good. Heel toe. And side step. The other side. Ready? Here. And split step, stagger stance, split step, stagger stance, heel toe, and side step. Good. Square stance, the other side, split step. Ready? Stagger stance, split step. Stagger stance, heel toe, and side step. Nice, okay? Good. Now we're going to put it together into the shot, okay? Shot, really important. A lot of stuff can happen after the shot. You can run pipe, you can, straight blast, you do all sorts of different finishes, turn the angle, whatever we're going to be doing, okay? The deal is, when I go in, whatever I'm trying to set up off the shot, whether it's single, double, whatever, okay? My goal is not to stop this person and to pull them into me. It's like me doing a shot on the piano over here, or on the couch, all right? If I do a shot on the piano, I'm not gonna shoot in and grab the piano and pull it to me, all right? Because it's next to impossible to do, all right? By me coming in and shooting in and grabbing somebody's legs who is actually in the process of sprawling or having their base, I'm not gonna move them too much, like to pull them in to me, all right? That's not my goal. My goal is just to slow their process the progress down of getting their legs away from you. It's just to block their legs and try to hold them somewhat stable or stationary. And if you ever tried to take somebody down off a single or double, you know they're not being stationary, all right? It's awesome to work the drill, but you know, when you're working with a partner, but when you're trying to actually take them down, they're moving, they're sprawling, they're trying to get their feet back, all that kind of good stuff, hips down on you, things of that nature. So they're not being stationary. So it's just a deal of trying to encumber their ability to be able to move back and to maintain that distance and keep that space, keep their hips away from you. And then the whole process of that is while I'm doing that, I'm trying to bring my hips into them, all right? Really important that I bring my hips into them. The power leg, when it comes back through here, and I come down and I shoot and I drive, this leg where it comes through, how it comes through depends on what I'm trying to accomplish, all right? Really important. I don't just bring it up to the side here and then try to go, because that's going to now, again, the ball of the foot, all right? If you noticed, the ball of the foot, if my foot is facing there, my toes are facing this way over here, and I drive, what direction is that going to take me right now? It's going to take me this way, right over here. If I drive off this leg, that's where I'm going to go. If my leg is behind me here, I'm going to keep going this way. If my leg is here, now that's going to help me to get my hips in, and then from here, I'm going to be able to drive different directions and stuff like that. So typically what we drill off of the shot is we want to bring this leg all the way through. So we drove in, and when I work my shot, I want to bring this leg all the way in as my hands are pulling my hips in here, all right? Once my hips are in now I can finish whatever I'm going to be finishing, all right? Depends on what they do. I might have to turn, I might have to drop my knee, I might have to drive off of this leg, I might have to continue walking forward like a shot walk. So we come in, we shoot, boom, bring it through. Here my hips are in, I might have to keep walking forward, all right? So it depends. When you're drilling the shot though, it's super, super important that we bring this leg all the way through. Bring it all the way through, okay? So when I'm here, and I go work here, and I work my split step here, and then I power in, I come through and bring my hips forward. Really important that my hips come forward, all right? So now we're just adding the shot to the end of each of those 4 situations there, and bringing the hips all the way in, right? So we're here, in your stance, and we go into our split step here, and shoot, and then we come up, all right? We're here, stagger stance, and split step, and shoot, and up, good. Stagger stance, heel toe, split step, shoot, good. Now side step, stagger stance, and split step, shoot. That's it, okay? Now we're going to go to the other side. Here, and split step, and shoot, good. Stagger stance, split step, and power through, shoot, good. Heel toe, split step, and hips forward, side step, stagger stance, and shoot. Nice, okay? So now we're going to put it all together. Not so much focusing on trying to make it fast, trying to make it connected and smooth. That's what we're trying to work on, all right? Remember, bring that knee all the way up, ball of the foot. Power, hips lined up right, drop your level all the way, shoot, drive all the way in, bring the back leg forward, bring your hips in, and work to focus on thinking about whatever finish might happen, right? Like I said, if you end up with a single, you might come back up, snatch single, all right? You might run the pipe on the one side, you might run the leg on the other side. You want to go straight blast through, like I said. A lot of different ways to finish depending on what you're trying to do, right? Just trying to make it consistent now. Okay, so what we're going to be working is we're going to go in and we're going to work the 4 different directions on both sides, 3 rounds. Okay? Here we go. Stagger. Ready? Split step. Shoot. And finish. Ready? Stagger stance. Split step. Hips forward. Heel toe. Hips forward. Good. Side step. Hips forward. The other side. Here. Split step. Stagger stance. Remember, drive that knee to the chest. Split step. Bring those hips forward. Heel toe. Side step. Other side. Split step. Stagger step. Heel toe. Side step. Other side. Split step. Stagger step. Heel toe. And side step. Last one. Get my mats back together. And these are decent mats and they're soaking them hard. Ready? Elbows cramping up. Don't ask me why my elbows cramping up when I'm shooting, but it's cramping up. Here we go. Ready? Split step. Stagger step. Heel toe. Side step. Remember, that side step doesn't start wide. But here, it's a split side step. Here, right? The other side. Split step. Stagger stance. Split step. Heel toe. And side step. Nice. So listen, try to incorporate that into some of your solo drills, your shadow wrestling, paying attention to the detail, and think about how it can be applied when you're shooting in for whatever leg attack that you're doing. Remember, leg attacks are a little bit more risky, higher risk, but they have higher reward, right? They're also a lot more difficult to do, right? It's much easier to go in, tie in, and of course you hear Coach Darryl talk about it all the time. People tend to go in and they tie up and they think they're doing something, but it's a lazy tie up. You end up in a lot of trouble, right? Personally, for me, I like, hand throws. All right, being able to get in, body throws from the tie up, all right, because that's a long way down for me with the shot, all right? But this type of a shot helps me a lot because it forces my level down, right? It really does, because it takes my feet away and out of the equation. I'm not having to just be stationary and bend my knees and then take that penetration step or anything of that nature. It gets everything where I want it to be. It's just a cheater way of getting into a nice penetration step for the shot, right? But shooting, for the legs is really important, all right? And when you think about how it's done, you want to make sure that you don't end up smashed, face smashed into the mat, hips riding on top of you and giving up back points, and all of a sudden, near fall, all that kind of good stuff, right? So we don't want that, all right? So that's why when you shoot, you want to make sure that it's done in a manner that's going to make sure you're effective and be able to get underneath the person, successfully get to the legs, and then finish. The key is finish, 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 finish. You've got to get your hips underneath. So that means if you're going to go through, another good drill that you can do, we're not going to do it right now, but it's like shot walk all the way through. It's like running on your knees. Bop, 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 bop. You want to move forward while, again, I'm not trying to pull my friend, into me. I'm trying to just encumber their process to move back, make it hard for them, slow them down, to get my hips into them, all right? That's always the case, all right? When I am doing any throws that require my technique to work and not their movement to work, all right? If they're moving forward on me, that's different, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different throws that can work, but I'm trying to get my hips into them, all right? Really important, okay? Hey, drill this on your own. Make sure you practice. Remember, it's a combination of the drop step, the down block, the penetration step, and level change. All four of those elements become one element inside the split step, all right? The split step helps you set up to get inside, front, it goes angle setups, all different types of setups that you can work off of, okay? So, I want you to be able to work that. Remember, practice hard, work hard. We'll see you guys on the mat next week. Make sure you pay attention to the emails that are coming out. Make sure your Zen Planner account is up to date, because you do have to reserve your class online before you can come in, and then we're going to work from there, all right? But we're looking forward to seeing everybody. You guys have a great rest of the week. Enjoy this great rain that we're getting. We need it. God bless. Thank God for getting the rain. The only bad thing is I can't be outside, but it's all cool, all right? Unless I want to get real wet. But you guys have a great day. Don't forget, live life on purpose and never quit.